The MCU is home to some incredibly brilliant minds, like Tony Stark and Bruce Banner.
Thanks.
But hey, we have some good ideas too, and they don't all involve awkward moments between Ant-Man and Thanos. It's long been thought that the quantum realm will be an important part of Avengers Endgame, and that our heroes will use it to travel back in time. But what if that's just the beginning? After all, what's the point of a multiverse if you don't use it to its full potential? Comic book fans know that there are many different universes on the pages of Marvel comic books, but this is a relatively new concept when it comes to the MCU. The movie Ant-Man introduced us to the quantum realm, and one of the prevalent theories about Avengers Endgame involves our heroes using it to bring down Thanos. Most fan theories seem to involve our heroes using the time vortexes Janet Van Dyne mentioned at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp to travel back in time to undo the decimation. This seems plausible, but everyone knows there's more than one way to utilize a quantum realm. At the end of Avengers Infinity War, things were looking bad for our heroes. Thanos has the Infinity Gauntlet, all of the Infinity Stones, and our heroes lost about half of their resources.
50% of all living creatures.
But there is one thing the remaining heroes have going for them as we head into Avengers Endgame, and that's the element of surprise.
So let's get him.
Let's be honest, as talented and powerful as they are, these heroes haven't shown themselves capable of much foresight. Yeah, we're looking at you, Tony Stark. Ultron might be the most notable example of his short-sightedness, but we're not here to enumerate his various failures. We'll save that for another video. But right now, Thanos is convinced that he's won, and let's be real, he pretty much has. He hung up his armor both literally and figuratively, signing up for FarmersOnly.com, and is presumably enjoying his retirement. This is the chance for our heroes to strike before Thanos knows what's going on. The element of surprise was what left Thanos open to being struck by Stormbreaker during Infinity War.
You should have gone for the head.
Our heroes have one shot to debilitate, if not outright destroy Thanos before he realizes what they're up to. Once he catches on that they're trying to undo the decimation, you know he will stop at nothing to crush them all into a fine paste. They might be able to use the quantum realm to go back through time, but what if they could use it to incapacitate Thanos long enough so that they can collect the Infinity Stones? We all know that Hank Pym, Janet Van Dyne, and Hope Van Dyne disappeared during the decimation, so we're fresh out of heroes proficient in the quantum realm. But since Scott Lang is in the mix and clearly links up with the Avengers, it's clear that our heroes will have access to Hank's technology.
This is Scott Lang! We met a few years ago?
Honestly, the best thing Scott can do right now is get it into the more capable hands of people like Tony Stark and Bruce Banner. Instead of sending themselves through the quantum realm and potentially into another universe, why not send Thanos? Doctor Strange was able to look at over 14 million potential futures during Infinity War, so we know our heroes have options. It's possible that there exists a universe where the Infinity Stones don't work, or there's some way to oppose them and render them useless. This would be the perfect place to send Thanos while our heroes on this timeline work on undoing the decimation. But it seems like our heroes would need to secure the cooperation of someone from the universe they want to send Thanos to. After all, what are the epics of hurling a nearly unstoppable enemy onto another defenseless universe? In order to pull off this plan, our heroes would need to make connections. They would need to ensure that Thanos wouldn't be a threat in the other universe before being able to send him on over. What if they could make a connection who would be able to contain Thanos until our heroes can undo the decimation? Who would have the power to hold back someone as powerful as Thanos, and yet also be brilliant enough to communicate with other heroes via the quantum realm? Pretty much nobody in the current MCU lineup fits this description, but we can think of someone who does. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has no shortage of great characters, but you know comic book fans always want what they can't have. For years, we've been clamoring to get the few Marvel heroes Marvel Studios doesn't have the rights to into the MCU. You can call us dreamers, but we finally got Spider-Man, so there's that. Of course, you've probably heard about the recent acquisition of 21st Century Fox by Disney. This means that they now have access to more beloved superheroes than ever before, including Deadpool and the X-Men. There's another team of Marvel heroes which failed to make it big at the box office.
It's clobbering time.
Seriously, the very first Fantastic Four movie ever made was so bad all the copies of it were ordered to be destroyed. Of course, you can still find it on YouTube, but we don't recommend it. Although a few Fantastic Four movies actually made it to theaters, they're pretty much universally considered to be bad. They just don't do justice to what are some truly great superheroes with compelling personalities and an interesting dynamic. While we're excited at the prospect of seeing these heroes in the MCU, the big question would be how to introduce them. At this point, it would seem weird to think they've been around all of this time without anyone knowing, especially considering the other heroes have been public knowledge for over a decade now.
I am Iron Man.
Having heroes like the Fantastic Four exist in an alternate universe would solve this problem, and could be introduced as soon as Avengers Endgame if this theory is true. We know there are 4 members of the Fantastic Four, and even if you're not familiar with them, you've probably figured out that much too. But right now, we're going to be talking about the one we think could be a potential ally during Endgame, and that's Mr. Fantastic himself, Reed Richards. Calling yourself Mr. Fantastic may seem like a bold move, but Reed has the smarts and power to back it up. He's an absolute genius. There's even a precedent of him working together with Tony Stark in the comic books, like the time they created a clone of Thor. Yeah, that went about as well as you're probably thinking. We didn't say he was any better at considering the future than Tony, just that he might exist in a different MCU timeline. If Tony Stark and Bruce Banner start exploring the quantum realm, it seems reasonable to assume that they might try to attempt contact with people in other universes. After all, their resources and manpower are at an all-time low, so any allies they could gain would be invaluable right about now. Shouting out into the void of the quantum realm could attract some unwanted attention, but it might also get them in touch with fellow brilliant scientist Reed Richards. Seriously, with folks like Shuri and Hank Pym gone, our heroes could use all the help they can get. This would not only be a surprising and awesome way to introduce the Fantastic Four into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it could also provide a solution to the whole Thanos problem. We might also get to find an answer to who would win in a fight, Thanos or the Thing.
It's clobbering time!
If Tony and Bruce secured the cooperation of Richards, their next step would be to trick Thanos into the quantum realm. During one of the recent Endgame trailers, we saw Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor encountering Thanos, who seemed to feel his victory was still secured. There has been a rumor that the trailers only contain footage from the first 30 minutes or so from the movie, and Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige seemed to confirm this. But why would our heroes be playing their hand so soon into the movie? After their multiple defeats during Infinity War, it seems unlikely they're just going to rush upon Thanos without having some sort of plan. Instead of trying to take him down in an out-and-out brawl, it could be that they're trying to lure him into some kind of trap. How else would they trick Thanos into getting trapped into another universe rather than pretending to battle him? He's already collected all of the Infinity Stones, and he's fresh out of kids he cares about. Whoa, sorry, Nebula. But in our defense, this helps explain why Thanos wouldn't back down from a battle with our heroes. We know Thanos is an absolute monster, but Infinity War made it clear that he genuinely cared about Gamora in his own terrible, horrible way.
I'm sorry, little one.
He even admits his quest to obtain all of the Infinity Stones cost him
Everything.
so there's no way he's going to let Gamora's sacrifice be in vain. If our heroes manage to undo the decimation, this means Gamora essentially perished for no reason. And we believe Thanos would do anything possible to prevent that from happening. Losing her has to mean something, which means the world, well, must remain decimated. At least from Thanos' viewpoint. By going up against Thanos so early in the movie and letting him know they're working on undoing the decimation, they're going to prompt him into acting. And when you're reacting to things, you're more prone to make mistakes, as our heroes have learned over and over again. If our heroes can manage to get Thanos through the quantum realm and into another universe, then maybe this new genius ally of theirs could contain him long enough for our heroes to collect the Infinity Stones and undo the decimation. Even without the stones, Thanos was pretty much unstoppable during Infinity War. And now that he has all of the stones and the Infinity Gauntlet, how could our heroes even hope to defeat him or collect the stones without him noticing and tracking them all down? Their only hope is to get Thanos into a place where he can't interfere with them. And we can't think of anywhere in the universe where that's possible, at least the universe we know of. We knew when the MCU started introducing things like time travel, the quantum realm, and the idea of a multiverse, things were going to get complicated. And sure enough, they have. If our heroes are going to be suiting up to travel through the quantum realm, who's to say Thanos isn't as well? And instead of having him rip apart space and time, maybe it would make sense to find a place for him to kick back and relax until our heroes are finished figuring out how to defeat him. And if this ends up with our heroes making new, powerful allies and us getting to see some of our favorite comic book heroes in the MCU, then all the better. What do you think about this theory? Might the Avengers lure Thanos into a different universe in Endgame? Let us know what you think in the comments section below, and then click on the subscribe button for more videos from us here at Screenrant. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.